Hello again, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emma. I also go by Coffee Vamp, and today we're talking about organization. So when you're freelancing, like I am, it is critical to maintain an organized system when you're dealing with projects, clients, applications, conventions, markets. So first and foremost, when you're freelancing, you're working for yourself, you're in charge of everything. You're the boss, you're the employee, administrative support, you're in charge of all of it. Which is why it is crucial to keep things written down or typed up or in place so that you can make sure you're doing everything that needs to be done when it needs to be done. So for example, I've been using a planner and a journal. The fact that I've been using two things makes it inconvenient. It's a little difficult to carry both around. It's a little difficult to have to flip back and forth between them, but they both have parts of the puzzle that I need to keep things organized for me personally. I'm gonna run you through a basis for how I keep track of things and deal with maintaining organization and making time for mental and physical health. And then I'll show you how I'm improving upon that and going to be changing things for 2025. And you might be wondering why I'm doing this so early. That's because apparently it's Hobonichi season. And this is the new method that I'm using and the new planner I'm using for the next year. It's too bulky for me personally. It's not easy to toss in my bag. It's not easy to always have on my person so that I can just scribble in updates or new dates that are added or appointments. It's not convenient. So for the planner, you're gonna wanna keep track of things like when conventions are happening. Whether I get in or not, I like to keep track of when conventions are happening to keep tabs on how the event's going, if my friends are in the event, if I want to do the event next time or apply again next year, I will keep tabs on it to see how is attendance, how do artists think that the event is run, that sort of thing. It's important to keep an eye on that, even if you're not vending yourself at the event. It's important to factor in deadlines for client work, when you have to update and get in touch with clients, when you have meetings, when deadlines are to apply to events to get in, factoring in when you need to send things to print by so that you can either have them in time for Patreon or the shop drop or for a convention. Speaking of Patreon, let's pause what we're talking about to talk about who's sponsoring this video. It's not a real sponsor. I'm just a tiny content creator, but it's my patrons. So I adore my patrons. They allow me to spend time creating things like this. And this month, if you are part of the Little Mail Club, we're doing a fairy theme to bring in fall, and we have this cute postcard. Lighting's a little dramatic. Cute postcard that you can send to your friends or family. And this adorable rainbow glitter sticker, the cute little fairy, and her noble steed. Every month the Mail Club gets a postcard and either a sticker sheet or a vinyl sticker. But if you don't want to join that tier, I also have a lower paid tier and a free tier, which always gets access to blog posts, which are essentially my newsletter to keep up to date on things, know what's happening, know when there's new items in the shop, what events I'm doing, that sort of thing. Thank you so much for your support, and if you consider joining, thank you for that as well. Now let's get back to the topic. So in addition to keeping track of everything that you're doing, you're also gonna want to, as a freelancer, Self-imposed deadlines are also extremely helpful, I think, when you're freelancing, because even if you're doing a project for yourself, it is important to make sure that you're allotting the time for that to guarantee that it gets done. So putting it in your schedule, factoring that into your workday is the best way to make sure that that project doesn't fall by the wayside and that it actually will get done and become completed. Had I not done self-imposed deadlines, I would not have finished my graphic novel, and I wouldn't have been able to have it finished and printed in time for VanCaf this year. What I find also helpful is if you are scheduling things to break a project down into sections. So give yourself a certain amount of time. So say you have like 2 weeks turnaround for a project for a client, try to break that up into smaller chunks for each section. Like say you have to do a finished illustration and you have a 2-week turnaround, and depending on how you work is going to change what tasks that involves. But if you work the more common digital way, you would say, okay, well, 1 or 2 days for sketching, then you can factor in like a day or 2 for line art, a couple days for color, another few days for finishing touches and final tweaks, and factor in there time to send and receive feedback from the client between stages, because generally when you're doing a sketch, you send it to the client first to get approval before continuing on. That way no one's wasting anyone's time and making sure both parties are happy with the result. There's so many things to keep track of in your schedule and task-wise, which is why I highly suggest a planner if you're not using one and you're working freelance. In addition to the planner, I do also use Notion. That way when I'm on my computer, I do have a list of tasks that I can check off throughout the day. I'll update that every morning and take the information from my planner to there, so that anytime I'm working on the computer or when I check it again, if I'm not using the computer that much, I'll check it at the end of the day when I check my emails again, because I check emails morning and night. And when I check it again, I'll make sure that I ticked off everything from the list and make sure everything got done. If it didn't, I still have time to do it. And that way I am extremely thorough and can get done every task I need to do. Now, the other important element, I think, is journal. So I think it's extremely important, especially if you're a creative, to be able to be creative in a spot that's not stressful or money-based or that requires perfection. And so I do need to talk about the things that go on throughout the day, talk about things that I need to factor in for my business, talk about things that I'm considering with my art and my craft, ideas I have, talk about plans that I have, talk about how things are going, talk about my day. I think that's really important personally, especially because when you're working freelance, you're working by yourself and for yourself. You don't have coworkers. And I think it's important to make sure that you are maintaining your mental health. And I find journaling and writing down what I've done or things that went on throughout the day, not only just to keep track of that, especially because there's so much going on when you're freelancing, but also because it's important to maintain a positive headspace. And for the creative aspect, I'm very much like a decorative journaler. And I think it's extremely helpful to have that aspect. As far as mental health with freelance, speaking of, you know, not having coworkers or people around, you have to make sure that you, even if you have to schedule it in the planner, you have to make time to spend and talk to friends, loved ones, family. You have to make time to go out, get some sun, go on a walk. Make sure that you are not staying just closed in indoors, getting work done 24/7. You can't, it's not healthy for you. Also, it's important to make sure that you are taking breaks, which is why scheduling your day can be really important, because you can make sure that at particular times or that during the day you have a time to eat, drink, take a walk, stretch. If you're neurodivergent like me, sometimes you just kind of get in the zone when you're working and you just lose track of time, and then it's been 6 hours, you haven't had anything to eat or drink, your bones are stiff. Just schedule timers, put it in the planner. If you have a clock visible, I have the homepage that my Notion loads on has a clock visible, so that like I can always keep track of how much time has passed, to make sure that I'm not getting dehydrated, to make sure that I'm stopping to eat when it's necessary, that I'm stopping at least every hour or so to get up, walk around a bit, stretch. That's also going to help keep your mental and physical state a lot better and make it less stressful to go through the day. And that comes into organization, because sometimes you gotta organize shit like that to make sure that gets done. Especially when everything is reliant on you and extremely critical on you and you getting things done. It can be very stressful. You can easily toss things like that aside for the sake of production or productivity, and it's not worth it. So now let's talk about my new setup for 2025. I'm super excited. So Yumi Kitagishi is one of my favorite illustrators. I love her gouache paintings, and when I saw that she was doing the cover, I decided this was the year I was finally gonna cave, because I've been eyeing a Hobonichi cousin, I believe this size is called, the A6 is called, for a couple years now, and I finally took the plunge because she was doing her designs for the cover and I was obsessed. So this is the cover. It has a loop for a pen. There's another one here. Inside. There's 2 ribbons to keep track of the monthly calendar and the dailies, which I'll run you through. I'm going to run you through what I have in here so far and how I'm going to be using it. So, things I have in here so far. Got snail paper clip to keep track of if there's another page I want to mark. I might get the little sticky tabs. Actually, I'm thinking of making my own sticky tabs. If you want a planner set, let me know, because I do have like planner specific stickers in my shop, but I kind of want to make a bundle with like the little tab, fold over tab markers and like the acrylic clips for pages like this and stuff as like a big bundle. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. There's also this very cute illustration that came with the cover. I have a couple of my bigger stickers in here. I have a business card with washi tape if I need to be a little fancy and decorative on the go when I toss this in my bag. And I have, this is the back of a sticker sheet from Art by Tuna, and if you haven't checked out their stuff, you should. They're amazing. and I used it to make a little DIY sticker book so that I could put stickers that I think I'd want to use and stick them on here so that I can peel them off and use them whenever. And so it's a little DIY on the go sticker book. I have some of my own stickers in here and some from Sticky Club, which I used to be subscribed to. It's a very fun sticker themed subscription service. These are some of my planner stickers. So that slips in here because there's a lot of pockets and folders. I also wanted to go a little ham decorating the two inside front and back cover of the planner itself. I just want a serotonin boost when I look at it because like it is work related, and while I do love my job, it is still work. So in the back here, I've got a couple sticky notes. I just took like a chunk of sticky notes off a pad. It's a ghost with a little witch hat. Isn't he really cute? I have him in there, and then I have the matching A6 pencil board that Yumi Kitagishi did. Had a little ruler on it. This is essentially it says today on it, so like you can mark what page you're up to, or you use it to put under the page for writing so that you have like a firm surface to write on. You can also use it as, a ruler, a straight edge. So I keep that in there. And the little pen I got for free from ordering from Hobonichi directly. It's the black, blue, red tricolored pen. So what's really good about the Hobonichi is that you have monthly spreads. Right now I only have the conventions and markets that I'm interested and or applied to, that the dates are listed for. And birthdays, special events that I already know of, that sort of thing. But you have the monthly so that you can set up all the dates you need to do. But there is also this section, if you can see, this section here kind of has like its own little column. So you can do tasks or to-do lists that you specifically know that you need to get done for the month to keep track of. And then you have dailies. So there's a whole page for each specific day. And it has the same thing. So there's 2 columns. So there's a column with like time for like scheduling. I'm not going to be using the time specific hour scheduling, but you could. I can list the tasks that I need to do throughout the day as like a checklist and things that I have to get done that specific day. But I also have this other section that I can use for the journaling section to write about what was done during the day, write about how the day went, positive and negatives, what I'm thinking, what ideas I might have. I also have plenty of room to get creative and decorative, to kind of do like a no pressure creativity kind of moment, which I have loved about journaling, because sometimes you need to not have the pressure of needing it to be perfect, needing it to be monetized, and journaling is the perfect way to do that. And so this planner is the perfect way to balance the need for organization for work and the mental health aspect that is also important to work, because it's extremely hard to be good at your job if your mental health is absolutely declining. So what's also nice is there are other sections in here. Let me find them. So there are blank grid pages, which I'm going to probably use for business expenses to keep track of all of that in the same space as well. I do have a spreadsheet for it on my computer, of course, but it's also nice to keep in mind, especially if I want to quickly reference things when we're at a convention or a market. If we're trying to figure out, did we make back table and hotel yet? I have all those expenses listed in here. We can check that. If I want to check to see if it was worth it to order new product, how much did I spend on that? There's also some fun mental health moments, is what I'm going to call them, because I don't know what else to call them at this point, because they're not necessarily work related. You need your mental health well, mental health is just important in general, but also you can't work well if your mental health is in the shitter. So I'm going to call it that. It's part of work, kind of. So they have a favorites section so that you can do like reviews, which I like. So I'm thinking maybe I'll use that to do places that we eat when we go to markets that aren't in our immediate area. I feel like that could be fun to keep track of. There's also a My 100 list, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do on that. If you have any ideas, or if you have any tips, tricks, suggestions, because you're a Hobonichi person, let me know. This is my first time using it, and I'm open to suggestions and advice. There's also a 365-day checkoff sheet. So I think I'll just use this to make sure that I'm utilizing this every day. Even on days off, it is important for me to make sure that I am taking the time to reflect and think about the positive things that happen during the day. And so I think this is helpful to hold me accountable, but you can also use it as a tracker. There's a little section for important addresses like name, phone number, actual address, email address, that sort of thing. There's your information, that way just in case this is lost. There's plenty of the empty grid pages to do bullet journaling, trackers you might need, but it is really nice that there are so many pages like that in the back to make it that much more personalized and customizable to what you need. There's also at the top of all the dailies these little check boxes, so if you want to do a little to-do list here, or like if you have daily to-dos like to check off, or like a tracker that you need to do, like did you hydrate enough today, did you exercise today, like non-work things maybe you could put there. That's probably what I'll do. Again, I'm just explaining how I plan to use this and how I think this would be really helpful for freelancers. But that's just my opinion as a freelancer. Oh, it also came with a cute little blind bag notebook. They did, I think, traditional Japanese patterns for them, and this is the one that I got. It's got the same really nice paper. It's very satisfying. It's very nice, very soft grid paper, and it doesn't bleed through when you write on it, which is amazing. Anywho, this is my fun new planner. I am hoping to include this in content for next year because I feel like it's important to show aspects of freelance life that aren't, or life as an illustrator that aren't as cut and dry as, okay, well, I'm packing orders, okay, well, I'm at a convention, okay, well, I'm always busy, but like the day-to-day things, like trying to go through and navigate scheduling and dealing with a lot of projects, busy periods, slow periods, keeping track of keeping your mental health in a good standing. Moving forward with this channel, I would like to try and show a broader scope of life as a freelance illustrator, not just the glamorous, fun, I don't even know if you'd really call it glamorous, but like the fun, blatantly successful, like, well, I'm at an event and I'm making money, woo, or, oh, well, I got like 300 orders, I'm gonna pack them all, hey, hi, what's up, I'm doing great. Like, it's not all glitz and glam and what you see on Instagram or sometimes YouTube. I want to show the more nitty-gritty of it, the more, not bland, but like the more daily, down to earth, just kind of how I'm going about my day as someone who sometimes has slow periods, sometimes has busy periods. Freelance work really fluctuates. There's no stability or guarantee really for the most part. You're pulling from a lot of income sources, be it Patreon, people who do events like I do, people who do client work. It all adds up and it becomes harder to organize and figure out. The more variety there is, the more complicated it gets, but that's the best way to maintain a steady revenue and to get some semblance of stability. And I want to show that. I don't even know if that makes sense. I'm also going to start scheduling time to do videos so that I can be more on point about uploading. I, however, won't force myself to upload consistently if I don't have content that is worth uploading. Like, I don't want to scramble to upload something every week just to like appease the algorithm when it's not quality content or worthwhile for all of you. I don't want to just throw sludge at you. We're not here for that. I just want to share aspects of this for people who might be curious, for people who are in the same boat, and hopefully that is a thing that people want to watch. Anywho, if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Thanks again to my patrons. I adore all of you. If you would like to join, there is a link always in the description. Please like, comment, subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And I'll see you all next time.